She said, get out the chat room and clean my Glad stretch. Feeling fine, so fresh.
The Glad Girl Group coming at you with a throwback jam. That was Glad Force Flex Drawstring Trash Bags featuring Pine Sol Original Scent. And that's better than all good. It's all Glad.
Once upon a time, Amazon Music met audiobooks, and listeners everywhere rejoiced.
Oh, yeah.
Because now they could listen to one audiobook title a month from an enormous library of popular audiobook titles, including romantasy, autobiographies, true crime, and more. Suddenly, listeners didn't mind sitting in traffic or even missing their flight. Amazon Music Unlimited now includes Audible.
No way.
Download the Amazon Music app now to start listening. Terms apply.
What is up, everybody? You are here with Wholeheartedly with Kendall and
Galey.
And we are coming to you, my goodness. I'm fresh from a red eye, and by fresh, we're putting that in quotations because I took a nap the second that I got back to DC because of very chatty flight attendants, and I know about their sex lives, so bless your hearts, babies. It's rough out there. How was your week, Galey?
My week has been crazy. I had another trip to the vet ER with the new baby, which was terrifying. And of course, so basically they were out running in the yard. They came in, they had dinner, and then Bear just couldn't stand up. She was collapsing. Her head was wobbling. Her back legs kept sliding out behind her and she'd fall down. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is what happened to Charlie when she had heart issues. So I rushed her to the ER and at it was I don't know, 10 o'clock. They had a late dinner that night. It was 10 o'clock. And I get there, and of the 30 plus visits I've been to this emergency vet in the last year with Charlie, only one time did I get this one doctor. I've never seen him before, never seen him since. The same doctor comes out and he puts me in this same room that I was in when he told me Charlie passed away. So I was in the same room, closed off, in the same chair with the same doctor. And he was coming in to tell me how Bear was doing. And I was like, oh my, and I had the worst PTSD, but we got through it. They have no idea what the issue is. They think maybe she got stung by a bee or something and she was going into anaphylactic shock. So I'm hoping that's what it was. But yeah, it was wow. And then even scarier than that, yesterday morning I woke up and I got on the dating apps.
I'm proud of you. Good. You can't listen. This is you are at the hero's turn. Okay, first quick note on everything with Bear. I'm really proud of you. And the reason why is that when we are in, I think it's very interesting. For me, I'm like, oh, it's totally like a God wink moment. When you are placed in a situation that could pull up a lot of trauma and a lot of difficulties and has in the past, and you can walk through that with a different result. That's truly how you know that that's the only way to really check that benchmark of growth. And sometimes you don't want it to be that way, but you went through an ER hospital visit in the same room with the same doctor to the absolute worst night of your life. As witness, yeah. I can attest that was the worst night of your life.
You were naked in the shower helping me on the phone.
I was. Guys, but I was not naked in her shower. She called me. I was showering. Thank God that I iPad kid and I watched TV shows in the shower like Great British Bake Off to try to turn my brain off. It's probably really fucked. My dopamine levels are terrible. But
no, I do that too.
It's just so it's such a safe place. And I'm like, I just need a little happy. You know that song happy, happy, happy. Yeah, I just need that. That's me in the shower with my GBBO. But I'm very proud of you. And that's a huge thing. But I'm also very proud of you because baby girl's out there. She's in the wild.
Baby girl is out there and she is turtling hard. I'm barely sticking my head out of the shower and I'm whoop, right back in.
Just think clownfish, think Finding Nemo, think anemone. We go out of the anemone and then we go back in the anemone and then we go out of the anemone and then we go back in.
That sounds very sexual for some reason coming from you. Yeah.
Oh my God. Speaking of, quick little caveat. I have anybody in book talk world and like anybody who loves books, everybody knows about this series. It's like the ACOTAR series. I'm so embarrassed. I'm so not this type of like a reader. I love my true crime, but I wanted something fun. So, in fact, I heard about this from my former teammate, coworker, but she's like a good friend of mine, Selena from Peloton. And she's like, Kendall, I don't know what's coming over me. I love these books. Like, I'm not even a fantasy person. I'm not even a book person. And like, I love these books. You have to read them. So I finally like bit the bullet probably 3 months ago. I am on book 5. Each book is like 800 pages. Girl, it's called A Court of Thorn and Roses. I'm full send. And I will tell you, I'm on the plane with these really loud, chatty flight attendants yet last night, right? Middle of the night, who will not stop talking. I'm hearing about their sex lives. And then I'm reading this book, which the 5th book gets very, like, there's some encounters between these two characters that have been really liking each other for a very long time. And I'm like, this is a lot.
Oh, that's the best when you have the build up of like they like each other for so long, then not like that is the best.
Do you have a Kindle?
I have a Kindle, but not a Kindle.
You have a Kindle, but you don't have a Kindle. Well,
Yeah.
Kendall loves her Kindle. Alex got me a Kindle because it was for him because my light was too bright on my phone when I was reading. And he goes, babe, just get a Kindle. I have one. It's great. And so I have been reading off that Kindle. It is my new routine. It calms me down before I go to bed. I am obsessed. I need to get you a Kindle. That's going to be one of your Christmas gifts.
I feel like Alex is benefiting in more ways than one by getting you this Kindle. I'm just going to say that. Like, when I ever watch a movie or a show or I watch something and I'm like getting turned on, like, you know, like I think Alex knew what he was doing when he got you that Kindle.
Well, the weird part is like I've never been a fantasy like book girl ever. Like I loved reading as a kid. My favorite thing would be like we'd go to church as a family, and then my mom would be like, I need a break from all you guys. So we'd drop her off, she'd get her nails done, and then my dad would take all of us to Barnes and Noble and we'd go and pick up a book.
Oh,
We'd get bagels.
I
Like,
love
was
that.
it was the sweetest routine. So that was like kind of our routine. So I love with a passion Barnes and Noble, and it just is like my favorite thing. But I hate reading books because it's too difficult because it's bright and then the light and then it's like a weird droopy light and it never like, it's a pain in the ass. But I love reading. So we started dating and I happened to be on a different series. Again, Selena, it is your fault, but I love you for it. A different series, and there's like dragons and stuff. And then Alex is like, the dragons have sex? I'm like, kind of, but like that sounds weird. And I'm not weird like that. So our entire relationship, Alex now thinks I read these like smutty fiction novels, which is like so not me.
You're reading about dragon sex. That's a little nerdy, Kendall. I'm not gonna lie. Like that is hey, I'm not gonna like yuck your yum here, but that is like it's a little nerdy.
Hold on, hold. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
I got so embarrassed that my foot pulled out the cord to the mic.
Are you guys so turned on about dragon pumping that you like took your legs out?
Not, you asshole. No, that's not what happened. That's
Okay, no.
Guys, I don't know what's happening. Long story short, I'm in a plane. It got to that point in the book. Like the point that we've been waiting for 3 books. It got to that point. And I'm just like, well, we're here.
We're doing it.
So now you are back into the fold and into the world. And it just takes a little bit of courage and you can do this. I don't know how I got here. My ADHD, send me a life preserver.
Send one for me too, please. I am in the Bumble and Hinge abyss and I cannot find my way out. Like I have carpal tunnel from scrolling left so much that like I'm not gonna be able to use my right hand ever again. We're 28 hours in here. Now I will say, I've set a couple boundaries for myself, right? For one is that if somebody doesn't respond in a decent amount of time, you're out. Like you're out. I just like I don't play games. I don't do the like cat and mouse thing, the hard to get thing, the like send a message in response to a question once every 3 day thing. So if you don't respond in like a day, you're out. You're like, I'm out, gone. And then number 2, I haven't put my Instagram handle on there because I know almost none of these guys are going to know that like I don't know, I'm somewhat in the public eye, and I don't want that to be something that motivates them. And
Yeah.
I also don't want it to be something that deters them until they get to know me. So I'm not putting the Instagram handle in there, and I just have my name Galey, and nothing like that's hinting at anything. I just say like information. I just say like founder, like entrepreneur or whatever. I'm not saying anything else, so they can't Google it. Hopefully, it really hurts me that my name is so unique, though, my first name. Um, and
Well, but this is good though, because if they do scope you out, you'll be able to catch them in the lie.
yeah,
Because and are not, no offense if there's any gentlemen listening, but especially excited men are not that savvy. So they will show their hand if they've been weirdly Googling you if they're a creeper. So I like this. You have to have like a couple easy traps set to catch the weirdo.
wait, so does that make me a creeper? Because as soon as I find one I'm interested, I'm right to Instagram, Google. I am trying to CIA Susie
No, no, no.
ass, and I'm trying to find them and like see what else I can learn about them before I commit. Like due diligence is happening. It's happening.
There's a difference between due diligence and making a judgment off of what you find. I will say though, as a woman, it's different. We're just trying to make sure they're not a serial killer. Like
True.
that's like protection. That's like, I need to know, okay.
And I'm like, I'm cool if you kill serial, but not serial killer. Like that is not okay. So I deep dive into it. And I also have set a boundary for myself that I'm going to be completely and painfully honest from the get-go. There's no like, hey, do you have going out and traveling? Like, no, actually, I like staying home with my dogs and decorating and working in my garden. So like, if that's not going to work for you, you're not for me. Like, I'm very sure. So this just happened. So last night, there's one guy who so far I have been like, okay, you're interesting. And he's got 2 kids, which I stalked him on Instagram, and the kids are adorable. And he seems to have a very healthy relationship with his ex-wife. And I just feel like, okay, like he just seems like a really good dad. And that's very attractive to me because it speaks to his priorities and his heart. And I like that I'm not going to be his complete focus. Like, I like when people have their own things going on, because guess what? I've got a lot of my own things going on, and I cannot be the center of your world, because that kind of happened in my last relationship, and I'm not going to repeat the same mistake. So I love that he has 2 kids, and I love the idea of maybe one day getting to be a mom. And if it's not my own kids, that's okay. I just want to love on things. And so anyway, so we're like talking. So we take it off Bumble and we go to text, and he's got blue text. So like, that's good.
Okay, he's got an iPhone.
And we're going, yeah, he's got an iPhone. So that's good. He's definitely a bit older than me and what I'm used to dating. But the kids are young. So like, that's good. I want to say they're like 2 and 5, maybe.
Oh, they're little. Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
little.
it's nice to think about, depending on the age of the kids, how if another woman were to come into the picture, how that dynamic would be, and just preparing yourself. Like, okay, if it's a teenager, there might be some animosity at first because they have this past experience or this new person. Teenage girl, it's kind of threatening. You're taking my dad's attention. But I think what's really cool is like at that younger age, they're still being so shaped and formed that it's really about play and love and support and presence. So that's really nice. That's actually a really good age.
Yeah, I like that they're so young, and I like that the ex-wife seems amazing. Like, she's a boss professional, and they've had a very amicable divorce, and they split them evenly. They live 10 minutes apart. Like, it just seems like a very healthy, good relationship with the ex. So that also, I love that for all of them, especially for the kids. And so here, I mean, we've talked for one day, and I'm like, look how deep I'm getting in this. But anyways, so I was like, do you want to play the 5-question game? And that's where you ask each other 5 questions, and they can be anything. There's no guardrails. And if you don't answer a question, you lose. So I want somebody who doesn't want to lose, because I like a competitive man. So anyways, we're going through the questions, and one of his questions to me was, like, what is something in your home you cannot live without? And I said, without pause, I said, my leaf blower. And he was like, haha, that actually made me laugh out loud. No, but seriously. And I was like, oh shit. He thinks I'm trying to be funny. And I was like, and he goes, wait, you're kidding, right? And I was like, no, dead serious. And he writes back and he's like, oh, I mean, yeah, I guess it's good to not have leaves in your yard. He's like, so do you have mild OCD? And I was like, oh boy, like he's already on to me.
What did you answer?
I was like, no, sir, I do not, in fact, have any form of mild OCD. And he goes, oh, okay, good. And I wrote, I have CDO. And then in all caps, I wrote, which is OCD in alphabetical order the way it should be. And I was like, you know what? I'm just owning it. Like, I am not lying. I am not hiding back. And then he like started LOLing, like actually laughing out loud. And I was like, I hope that's not a nervous laugh, but it kind of should be because I'm a little crazy. But anyway, so that's where we're at. Wholeheartedly is sponsored by BetterHelp. It's the holidays, and I think my favorite part about the holidays is I can just go home, I can be with my family, be with my one normal dog and my one crazy dog, and just cuddle up on the sofa, watch cheesy holiday movies, and just feel really calm and content. And the reason I'm sharing that is because that's the same way you feel after a really good therapy session. It just brings you that comfort, that kind of warm hug, except it's for your mind instead of your body. And I highly implore it because I personally have greatly benefited from therapy. It's gotten me through some really dark periods in my life. So if you haven't tried it, I implore you to. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It is entirely online. It's designed to be convenient and flexible and suited to your schedule. All you have to do is fill out a brief questionnaire and you'll get matched with a licensed therapist. And if you don't love them, that's okay because you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Find comfort this December with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/whole today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/whole, WHOLE. I love podcasts that make you feel and then make you want to act. And that's why I want to share this amazing podcast, The Silver Linings Handbook. It's a weekly podcast just like ours, where host Jason Blair interviews interesting people from all walks of life. The best way to think of it is maybe not so much as a podcast, but more like conversations that will inspire you or interesting conversations with interesting people. I feel like it could easily be named that as well. Something I also love about this is the credibility that Jason brings to the table because he is a former journalist who worked at the New York Times, the Boston Globe, the Washington Post, and other newspapers. This podcast is about mental health, and he's bringing empathetic perspective with amazing interviews with incredible people and really brings to light suffering, recovery, and just finding opportunities to help other people and learn and grow from their experience and how it applies to yours. To subscribe to the Silver Linings Handbook, just go to anywhere that you listen to podcasts and look up the Silver Linings Handbook. You won't regret it.
I just want to hug you. I'm so fucking, these are the things that you need to be doing. This is so much growth. Like, you are talking to somebody, you're like, I have nothing to hide. I am who I am. Take it or leave it. It is what it is. None of us are perfect. We all have our weird little quirks and all the different things that make us us. And it's just finding somebody. Your peccadillos. Amen. Amen. And it's finding somebody, or not even finding somebody, but allowing somebody in to see those things, because that's where like real trust and really healthy relationships are built, is in being able to fully see each other. And I think that's the scariest part, is like, we want to be fully seen by somebody, but that means we have to allow ourselves to be kind of fully exposed. And you're not going to be able to build that foundation unless, you know, the parts that make you are able to be seen, and you're at peace with those parts, or at general peace, right? And you're like, all right, well, this is what it is. So I love that. And I love that you said CDO. And that is so,
yeah.
And if that scares him off, then he's not your dude. And God bless.
Yeah, honestly, like I'm old enough to know better that I want somebody to really see me exactly as me, not as this perfect thing that a facade that I'm trying to put up to be more attractive, to be more likable, to be more desirable, to fit into the picture of what you want for a long-term relationship better. I'm just going to be exactly me. And if you like me and all of those things, like you aren't just attracted to me, but you like me, then like this could work. And the other thing that I'm really appreciating about this process is that it's very empowering to get to just be yourself. And I think it also made it very easy for him to also be like really honest in himself. And the other thing that I'm noticing is like my icks. So here's what I've realized about icks, right?
Yep.
Is that I get icks often, and I really can't shut them off once they happen. But when I get the ick, instead of just holding it in and like not saying anything, I realize I need to just call it out and tell him, no, hear me out.
Oh God, what'd you do?
This is probably why he called me alpha in a text thread, but I just call out the ick. So for example, in like a past relationship, he would do something and I'd be like, oh God, that is so bad. Like that is just so unattractive. And it's spinning in my OCD loop. I'm icked. It's just now super icky and I'm stuck in the ick and I can't get out. Yeah. And it just compounds, right? And then the other icks get folded into the mix and it's just a big icky soup. So in this situation, we're texting, no icks have happened. And then I said something and he sent a GIF. And when I tell you, it was the lamest, worst GIF. It was so stupid. It was not funny. It was not relevant. It was so predictable. And I was like, oof. And I was like, I just got the ick. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to call it out. And so I was like, I'm not that judgmental, but something I am hyper judgmental on is your GIF game. And I was like, so if it's not good, it's like, I'm going to call it out. And I was like, on a scale of 1 to 10, just so you know, that was a 1. And he was like, oof, that got me. And then he sent another one that was a little bit better. And I was like, 1.5. And he's like, oh, you're not kidding. And I was like, no, I'm actually dead serious about this. So then we made a game out of it. And then every now and then he would send a GIF and I would rate it. And I'd be like, all right, we're at a 5. Okay, we're at a 7.2. And so then it became like, and then I'd be like, dude, you just sent me a 1 again. Like, stop with the icky GIFs. And so it became a game where we're like now joking about it. And so by me calling out my ick and just owning that I don't like it and that I'm going to judge you for it, it allowed him, it made it not so icky, because then when he gets a 1, now I think it's funny and cute as to icky. You know what I mean?
And also, okay, let me, all my ladies listening to this are laughing their ass off right now, just like I am, because what you just established in that process was hot. You just established one of the most important things is that now he's just trying to please you. So all he's trying to do is get your approval and to make sure that it is to Galey's standard. So guess what? Listen, as women, it's the whole like, have you heard like the black cat golden retriever concept?
No.
Oh my God. Okay. So there's this concept on the internet that was talking about why in traditional like cisgender, like man and woman relationships, it's really helpful when a woman is a black cat and she has that kind of energy and the man is the golden retriever. And these are kind of archetypes. And having been a black cat in relationships, not too many, and then having been a golden retriever in all the other ones, I can attest that I do think this is true. And I just think it's part of like feminine energy and being able to sit in your feminine power is that when you're doing that, you kind of carry more energy of like a black cat. Like you're not the one coming to them and doting on them and like, oh my God, what can I do for you? And
you're like mysterious.
Well, you're the one that's accepting the help and determining if it suits you, which is, I think, when we're really in our strong feminine energy, we have that kind of discerning power. We know that our greatest power is in saying yes or no, is in what we accept versus what we reject. And that it's kind of like queen energy. Like you pick what you allow in.
I mean,
And
let's
that,
be honest. Like, cats are very judgmental. Like, cats are
yes.
super judgmental, whereas dogs are just like, play with me, let's play. You want to play? Let's play.
Like, yeah, I mean, dogs. I love dogs. I love dogs for that reason. Like, they are just love incarnate and they're fantastic.
Hold on, just so everybody listening is aware, when Kendall just demonstrated Let's Play, she just threw her leg straight up in the air over her head. I don't know what you're playing. That's how Kendall plays.
I said scratch my leg, which then also now that's not helping. I'm not helping my cause.
All I saw was your leg got thrown up over the camera. Okay.
I will say, can we get a quick side note too? Because I haven't been riding a cycling bike copious amount of hours a week, the fact I can do that again is amazing. Okay, this hip mobility is coming back.
Because you're right, Allie, for copious amounts.
Galey, what is your middle name? I want to yell. I need your full.
My middle name is Alex. You know that.
Oh my God, you're right. Galey Alex Grossine. How dare you?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You
not
are
sorry.
My mother listens to these episodes. Honestly, she's going to text me and be like, that was hilarious. I support the joke. Like, my mom will literally laugh. You know that.
And thank you for that, Susie. And I will still decorate your home when you move to Florida.
Oh my God. I know. Guys, it's happening.
Oh my God. We got to talk about your house. So,
we do have to talk.
Kendall and I are like white on rice on what's happening with this house.
You core designers at this house, like because there's like the builder, and then there's like the designer for the builder, and then it's Galey and I, and then it's our discerning eyes, and so we get photo updates like every 2 weeks or so of the house, and it's like really coming along. I can't, like, I'm kind of freaking out. It's like it's actually happening. It's very real, and we found this last week. I opened it up and I was like, oh no. It is the most beautiful stone. It's Taj Mahal quartzite in most places, which ironically is exactly what Galey already has in her place with the leather finish. Has to be leathered. So we made all these great decisions about how we're going to put the stone in all like countertops, kitchen, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Here's the issue. I did not know that when the stone was going to get installed, they were going to put like what's it called? A splash guard or like a border?
Yeah, it's basically where you don't want the water to splash out of a sink or like go across the counter and hit the drywall. So you do this stone border, or like that's why in a kitchen you have the backsplash running all the way up. But because they're just doing the countertop with no tile on the back, they do like a bookend version of the countertop on top of it up like 3 inches, and they run it all the way around the countertop and on the sides,
and on the sides. Yeah. So my whole thing is I looked and I'm going through these photos. I'm with my mom and I'm like, Mom, I hate it. And she's like, what? And I was like, there's a border. It's ugly. Like there's going to be dust that's going to collect on the top of that. I want it to look really chic and like modern. I don't mind it on the back side behind where the sink is because I know myself, and Galey knows me when I use her bathroom, that I do get water there. And, you know, we've talked about this. On the counters here in DC, I do wipe it down with a little towel. So,
Kendall, when last time you used my powder bath, you somehow managed to like take the towel off of the hook and reverse it. You like Missy Elliott flip it and reversed it, and then barely hung it back on the hook. Meanwhile, I don't know why you did that, because you left water droplets all over the top of the handle, the faucet. And I was like, I don't know, like Hurricane Kendall just came through here. I don't know. Like it was like impossibly messy. I don't even know. And I was like, I love her, but I couldn't live with her.
I will say, like, I don't know why washing my hands. I don't care how careful I am. I think it's the shape of my long fingers. I'm going to blame my finger. Water splashes everywhere. I don't know.
The bullshit you have coming out of your mouth right now needs to go back in that toilet and close before you flush it. Because I don't know how your fingernails. Come on, Kendall.
I know. They're not even long anymore. Like I cut them and I got like, I don't know. I'm letting my nails breathe. Anyway.
Bullshit.
Yeah, you're right. That was total bullshit. I tried. I'm not, guys. Like, I seriously am not. I love it. Like, when people, even on the internet, are like, she's fake, she's this. I'm like, guys, I couldn't if I tried. I wish.
No. Kendall does not know how to be anything but Kendall, because you are so intensely Kendall.
Intensely Kendall. That is actually exactly
Yeah.
precisely it. Like, even like you heard, I was talking to Galey on the phone, and my mom and I, oh God bless, we were trying to like get into this mall to do a little bit of Christmas shopping. And then my mom scrapes the side of her Tesla on. I'm like, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. I'm like, Mom, your tires. And like, it's just, and then we're stressed, and my mom and I are like bickering, and I'm like, I'm sorry, Galey, I'm sorry. Hold on. Like, it was chaos because everything is intense in my family household. And
Yeah, but also like all of the pieces of the puzzle came together in that moment. And I was like, after hearing CIA Susie in the car and hearing her rims scrape the side of some sort of cement platform while Kendall is in the car and they're both screaming, I was like, everything makes sense. Like, this is why Kendall is who Kendall is. Like, the chaos is genetic, and I love it.
Yeah, my poor dad. Like, it was so interesting when my great grandmother was about to pass, which it sounds really dark and macabre, but the reason I say this, she was like 96. This woman was making stripper jokes about the pole in her bedroom when she was 93. Like, she lived a great life. Grandma D's a real one. But Graham D, we told my mom and I, she's like, by the way, you two, be easy on Rick, which is my dad. That's Aqua Dad, guys. She's like, be easy on Rick because he's got two of you running around, and that's just a lot. That's literally what she said. She called my mom and I a lot because we're fire and fire. So it's just like, hi, here's a blaze.
The fact that that is what she is thinking about on her deathbed does not surprise me. Because I would also be scared for Aqua Dad, and I'd be like,
in the water. That's why he's cool. Like, he is the water. My mom and I are fire. And what's good is when we're together, it's steam. Alex is very much water. Alex is very calm and flowing.
oh, I love that. It's steam. I love that. Everyone loves a good steam shower.
I know. Steam is lovely. It's great for the pores, great for the skin. It's warm, it's cozy, it's calming. Fire is too much. Water can drown you. So, we're steam. Steam is the goal.
And I am wind and that makes sense why I'm blowing leaves all morning for the rest of my life with my leaf blower, because wind is my sign. So like, I just love blowing wind. No, I did not say that.
Hey, that's a bitch.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so
we're removing the side pieces. That's what it came down to, guys. The side pieces on the border we're getting rid of. And we convinced them to do it because, well, anything Galey says goes. So like, you will make it happen and we will make it happen. So yeah, so the side pieces we're getting rid of them. And then we realized how ironic that is because we also just don't believe in ever being side pieces or allowing them into our lives. So the rule of thumb is if you're doing a border on a countertop, get rid of the side pieces.
Yeah, you can have it, right behind the sink across the back wall, but don't have it like turn the corner and come on and like flank the side of the sink and that side wall, just because it looks very 80s. And unless you're living with a Kindle tool, you probably won't get water over there, so you're good.
The irony is I probably need the side pieces. It's like bumpers.
I know you do, but I'm kind of putting my faith and trust in Alex that he'll just kind of like keep you in the center so that you can't migrate over with the water. And then the other thing is as they're sending pictures to look at the backsplash, I'm like, and I start circling all these things. Like, this handle is like 2 degrees off. We need to straighten it. Do you mind having them install it with a vertical level to ensure that it is straight? And if the hole, when they have to re-drill it, is off, we need to redo the cabinet front. And I am just like all over it. And I can just feel Kendall's like, no, I don't have to send emails. Galey will send them for me with her OCD, ADHD. It's great.
I love it. I love it. Listen, guys, like that's where it is a superpower. You just have to learn how to wield it. We all have our little things that they can destroy or they can build. It's a tool. Oh my God, I hate myself for this analogy, but mental health stuff is a tool and it's all how you use it. And sometimes you just don't need to, you need to put the tool away.
And sometimes you need to tell the tool not to splash water all over your sink handle.
Which I'm the tool. Yes, it's me. Hi. Oh, quick side note, quick other little gossip thing of pop culture. Did you see, I feel like an asshole. Blake Lively and Just Aldona.
Yes, I'm so glad you brought this up. I wanted to talk about this.
Oh my God.
I feel like I was on the right side of history.
God, I feel bad. I really thought that because of the way that when she said grab your florals do this, come to the movie. And then it came down from Sony. Sony, of course, didn't fall on the sword. That was their push to make the marketing really uplifting, to try to counteract what they knew the drama was behind the scenes.
That is literally what I said on the pod. I said, I feel like Blake Lively's PR team is doing a horrible job, because what if she was doing this? Now, I didn't anticipate it was because somebody else told her, but I was like, what if she's talking about it like a rom-com girly, get all your girls together and go? What if she's doing that so that more people will go and watch it? Because if she puts it out like a domestic abuse, violence against women movie, then chances are not as many women are going to get excited to go see it in groups. And then you don't educate as many people about how easily relationships can hide this, and that your friends can be suffering and you not even realize it, and all the things that, all the messaging that they're trying to get. So I was like, her PR team's doing a horrible job if that's why she did this, because that's actually a great reason, you know?
Yeah, and not being able to, I think there's a lot of lessons in it too, because I think her PR team needed to be much more reactive when things started to slip. I think they tried to play the high road, but in that position, there was so much damage being done. And you guys, like, I feel, I mean, I full on owning it. I totally thought, based off of the narrative that was coming off and how Justin Baldoni's team really seemed spot on, and he was addressing the issue and he was talking about the problems, I'm like, oh yeah, like I have more trust in that type of direct communication. But to watch the direct communication, quote unquote, about that be weaponized essentially against Blake to create this whole campaign. Guys, you have to read the lawsuit. Or the complaint.
Yeah.
Through 80 pages. My good friend Annie Elise, who has a podcast, Seriously, she does a deep dive because she's so used to reading cases. It's on her Patreon for free, so you can listen to it. Plug for my friend, but honestly, that's where I was like able to listen and understand, and she broke it all down. They have screenshots of the crisis PR manager or the crisis PR person with the head of the production company, and like, oh my God, it's working in our favor. We could bury her if we want to. Like all this terrible shit. And I think it's such a lesson for everybody how social media and how jumping on a bandwagon and not having discernment, or at least giving both parties saying, I don't understand all the facts. I don't know the full story. Let me not make a snap judgment. We have to start doing that. We cannot just go with the flow of like whatever's trending and like vilifying people in that way, because Blake Lively, even though I do think her PR team should have done a better job, two things are true at the same time. Her PR team should have done a better job. And also she was trying to save face in a situation that she was up against a wall. Like the stuff that they were doing on that set is so not okay. And the fact they had to hire, for the record, y'all, a full-time intimacy coordinator, that's literally, if that happens on a set, it's bad. It is bad, because you're essentially having someone there watching to see if sexual harassment is going to occur. That should never happen on a set where you have to have a full-time intimacy coordinator. And shame on Sony for not reading the tea leaves when that came down the pipeline. They just wanted it buried and not have to deal with it. That was effed. That was super effed.
I think a lot of things happened at once. Like on one hand, I will say, you know, I actually felt bad for Blake Lively, and I felt like her team wasn't doing anything and his team was doing the most to bury her. And so like I never spoke negatively about her, gave opinion on it, other than that her PR team's bad. But what I did say, and I do still stand behind, is the way she treated that reporter in that one interview was not okay, right? Like even if the reporter said something so offensive and horrible to her and then acted super nice and interested in her pregnancy and all of that on camera, you still have to, like, you know, I don't know, be self-aware enough to know that there's a camera on you and two women are ganging up on another woman acting very dismissive and like that I didn't like, right? And I will stand behind that. Yeah.
I think this is a big note, is that you're spot on. When you can have anything be cut down into a clip or to a 30-second moment where everybody is judging and making a decision on your entirety of your character,
Yeah.
we're never going to get it right. All of us. Like, right, if we think about, like, for example, I was obviously frustrated on that flight. I wasn't sleeping, whatnot. I'm sure if I was loud and raised my voice or was a total you know what, and let's say somebody had a phone out and they're like, oh my God, Kendall's such a bitch. She's such a diva. She's such a this. Even though what was happening on the flight shouldn't have been happening. Granted, I didn't say or do anything like this, but it's having that self-awareness to know, like, anyone can make a snap judgment and snap decision. I agree. I think the way that Blake treated that interviewer was really messed up. I also do believe that people can learn from their mistakes. And I also believe we can't like hold people to all of their past misgivings, but there is also an importance to have accountability as well. And celebrities are human beings, period. Like they're not gods. They're not perfect. And we have to stop expecting that out of people. But heinous behavior, sexual harassment behavior, greed, theft, fraud, all of that is uncalled for. People can have good days and bad days. And in this particular instance, nobody, I don't care who you are, nobody deserves to have that kind of a treatment on a set, to feel unsafe and to feel as if you have to fight and advocate for yourself. And that's really screwed up. And now I kind of understand if Ryan Reynolds came in and quote unquote wrote the rooftop scene and he was on set so much, because I can imagine someone's husband would be really pissed off to hear that this is what's happening to his wife on set. And he wants to make sure that he has eyes on the situation. Like it's yikes. It is yikes.
Yeah. And just, we don't know what we don't know. I always try to think of that, right? Like, I don't know what I don't know. And I'm sure there's certain moments in my life where like I've said something, and if that had been taken out of context, it would be the complete antithesis of my character and my value system. But if it was taken out of context, I could look awful. I can't really think of an example because I really try never. I'm a fawner, right? Like I'm not a fighter. So like
I'm good at English. I never do that.
The most fight you're going to get out of me is I'm going to say you look pretty good instead of really good. Like that's the most aggressive I will get if I'm angry with somebody. But
or if it's about an inanimate object, you can be very direct, which is great because that's design. Because it doesn't have feelings.
But did you notice my delivery? Did you notice my delivery in the email? I was like, everybody, this is looking great. I'm so excited. You're doing a great job. Also, just want to make sure, like in this and this and this, do you mind just checking and make sure it's all vertical? We're going to have a lot of eyes on this and we're so excited. So we just want to get it great. Thanks for all of your time and energy. I could have just been like, yo, that is off. Fix it. But instead, I just use all these fluff words because I just want to make sure nobody's feelings are hurt. But I do need to get those damn handles straight. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I'm much more, hey guys, love it. Here's, I like this. I do like the positive thing first always. But then I'm like, hey, this. Because for me, I'm just like, I don't want to waste someone's time. Like, this is what it is. This is what I'm going to tell you. And I'm not mad about it. I'm not upset at anybody. This is what this happens in building. But let's get it fixed.
I'll waste everybody's time, including my own, just to make sure that no one's feelings are hurt. Like, no one's panties are in a twist. Everyone's going to sleep, not angry. That's all I care about.
This is where we're different.
This is also why we work. Like, if I was a fighter like you, we would like one of our ears would be bitten off. You know, like we would never be able to work through stuff. But because like I come in one way and you come, and I can see when you're hot, and I know how to deflect it. And you can see when I'm really hurting, but I'm not speaking up. So you know how to pull it out of me and fight for me to give me that strength to stand up more for myself. You know, like it's a very healthy balance, I think, in our friendship, that we're not both that same like response when we're hurt or angry. You know, we're very different.
But I think that's what's good, is having that awareness about how you are. And again, accepting yourself, like accepting the fact that doesn't matter how you respond. There's no perfect way to respond ever. It's all emotional intelligence. And the more I go through life, emotional intelligence is just understanding what your strengths and not weaknesses, but more where your strengths can kind of not always be a strength in every room, and knowing how to be empathic with the person across from you or the peoples across from you, and be like, all right, how do I need to communicate to ensure that we can get where we need to go and we can do this together? And watching and navigating that is through life experience. It's also through self-discovery though. And like knowing, okay, I can be a certain way, so I need to counter this.
I completely, when people say that they're really deep empaths and they have really high EQ, their emotional intelligence is off the charts. I I don't know. I feel like we throw those words around so much. And I think up until recently, I always thought emotional intelligence was about your ability to read other people and how they're feeling and how you absorb it and how you react to it. But I actually think like 90% of emotional intelligence is just how well you know yourself.
Yeah.
Because
Ooh.
if you really know yourself, then you know how you can react to somebody else's reaction, or anticipate what somebody else's reaction is going to be, but then anticipate how it's going to impact you, but then how you need to convert what you're really feeling into what is most helpful for them. It actually comes back to you. So
Yeah.
people with the highest EQ, I think, are the people that are really self-reflective and introspective, and they've spent some time really understanding what are their hot points, what are their weak points, what are their pressure points, what are their anxious points, and how do they express that in a healthy way instead of just internalizing or completely combusting.
Exactly. That's absolutely spot on. And it's that give and take of the relationship that's so important. Like, you don't know how best to help another person until you first know how you can help. It's like showing up on a site or showing up, like, for example, you're not going to send a brain surgeon in if someone needs a leg amputated. Could you? Yeah. They could probably get some. Is it going to be as good of work as if the person who specializes in it is there? No. So you have to know what you specialize in, what you don't specialize in, and then being able to understand whatever you're communicating with somebody, literally anybody, there's always a goal. There's always an objective, which I think is really interesting. And so if you're really good and have high EQ and spent time with yourself, you understand that you're trying to remove the obstacles to getting to that goal. And you're trying to do that together. And so the obstacle could be, for me, oftentimes my obstacle can be my passion or my like fieriness to go after it and do it now. And I have to tone down that kind of passion with certain people because it's not, the message I'm trying to deliver is not going to be received that right way because they have a different means of communicating. So I have to be smart enough to pull that back and then be like, oh, actually a better way to do this is to speak to them in this manner because I know that their strength is in feeling safety first. And then that's what's going to get there. So I learned this actually years ago. I did this play, teeny tiny little play, it was in a tiny little theater, like 99-seat theater in LA. Very heavy subject matter. Really cool play, great cast, whatever. All the actors are like been in LA for like 40 years, been on every TV show. And the guy who was the director has done a ton of TV and again, really, really smart guy. And I remember we were doing a table read of the play and going through the script. It was early days. We were just in rehearsals. And I noticed how he would give notes to each actor differently. And what I mean by that is like, he would talk to them differently about the exact same thing. And he was so intelligent. I mean, the guy, I think he went to Yale. He was super smart. Not that going to Yale makes you smart, but I mean,
it kind of does, but go ahead.
Smart. Like, and he was a lovely guy. Grew up as a kid actor and then just started directing and writing. Really have a lot of respect for him. And I learned so much that day. I think I was like 15 and I saw how he told each of us the same note, but in a different way. And then when we went and marked it and then rehearsed, it all clicked. And I was like, oh, that's how you do it. You have to understand how to speak to people so that you can get the outcome that everybody's looking for. And I think that makes you like a great leader, a great CEO, a great business owner is knowing how to speak to people and how.
Exactly. You can extrapolate that philosophy onto so many other spaces where people are delivering messages. So that could be the coach of a team, right? And how they're coaching the different players, like a female soccer players or male basketball players. Like the coach is going to handle them differently, each individually based. It's same thing with a parent, right? Like my parents have 4 kids, and I guarantee you, if they were calling all of us to give us the same serious news about something, it would be delivered a little differently to all 4 of us. Even the mode of communication, one might be a text, one might be a phone call, one might be a FaceTime, one might be a, hey, can you come home this afternoon at 2:00? Like, so we got to tell you something in person. Like, it's just, it's so.
That would send me. I'd be like, tell me now what's going on. Oh my God. Anxiety.
Oh yeah. They can never get away with that with me. I'd be like, tell me now.
Like, I'm driving. I'm going 80 miles an hour to get there. It's like, no, that's not it. But that's so spot on. And I think that, it's funny how you go through life and you learn those things. And then you also learn a lot about what capacity is. Like, you have to know what your capacity is to be able to navigate those situations. And knowing your capacity about what you know where I'm going with this.
Oh, I'm smiling so big right now. Kendall, I know you so well. It is the second you said that, I was like, she's going in. Wholeheartedly is brought to you by my favorite, Progressive Insurance. Most of you listening right now are probably multitasking. I don't know about you, but I know every time I'm listening to a podcast, I'm doing dishes, I'm cleaning, I'm recaulking a floorboard, I'm dancing with my dogs, I'm doing something. But if you're not in some kind of moving vehicle, there's something else you can be doing right now too. That is getting an auto quote from Progressive Insurance. It's easy, and you could save money by doing it right from your phone. Drivers who save by switching to Progressive save nearly $750 on average. And auto customers qualify for an average of 7 discounts. These are discounts for having multiple vehicles on your policy, being a homeowner, and so much more. So just like your favorite podcast, I mean, I'm a little biased, but Progressive will be with you 24/7, 365 days a year, so you are protected no matter what. Multitask right now. Quote your car insurance at progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates national average 12-month savings of $744 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2022 and May 2023. Potential savings will vary. Discounts not available in all states and situations.
Good taste is easy to spot, but it's harder to pin down. You know it when you see it. And in today's culture, there's no greater signifier of taste than the car that you drive. You want something sophisticated but not stodgy, daring yet classic, approachable but with an air of opulence. And that's where the Range Rover Evoque comes in. An elegant SUV where sophisticated design, advanced technology, and premium materials meet. Clean lines, sumptuous materials, and advanced technology come together in the Range Rover Evoque. It's sophisticated and charismatic. The Range Rover Evoque elevates every single drive. A modern, chiseled tail-like graphic creates a sense of continuous motion and contributes to the signature aesthetic of the Evoque. A calm, minimalist cabin anchored by a center console featuring a tactile gear shifter. The Range Rover Evoque is art and craft in equal measure, and it showcases meticulous design and attention to detail. It truly is charisma in motion, and it's a vehicle that elevates every single journey, and it makes a statement wherever it goes. Build your Range Rover Evoque at LandRoverUSA.com.
Okay, guys, Kendall and I have something to tell you, and I'll let Kendall share it.
Oh, yes, and then we'll get into it. So,
Hold on. If you're driving, just keep both hands on the wheel. I mean, this might not be a big shock, but like we are gonna drop a little truth bomb on you right here.
So I am the direct rip off the Band-Aid type of girly, so I'm just gonna get right into it, y'all. This is gonna be our last episode of Wholeheartedly. We love you. That's the first thing I want to say is we absolutely love you. And we've loved this journey. And we love all of you that have been consistently listening week over week. And I know this probably feels like a sucker punch to the gut. But at the same time, Galey and I had a great conversation, a great sit down about exactly that, about capacity and about how precious our time is and how precious y'all's time is. And if this is the best mode for us to provide you guys what we want to give you. And if this is the best way for us to do that for you and for ourselves. We're both building very big things. I got to keep my eyes on this very big thing I'm building and pour into that. And I think same goes for Galey. So we wanted to make sure that we could provide you guys with community and wonderful conversations, but we have to pivot how we do that.
And something that we collectively have worked so hard on our platforms, on the things that Kendall and I are going to be going on to build that I think are far bigger than what we're capable of doing with the podcast. Those things have been consistently authentic and real and honest. And that's what we wanted to bring to Wholeheartedly is we wanted to have conversations about difficult things, about funny things, about mental health things that are just really, really honest and real in hopes that it could add value to somebody listening. And so how we're going to exit this little endeavor of ours is in the exact same way, which is super honest and super real. And we could sit here and say, oh, like we were only going to do this through the end of the year, so this was always the plan. Or we could sit here and say that, you know, we just don't have enough time. But so Kendall and I had a really long talk about how honest we wanted to be with you all about this. And we just want to say, like, as an entrepreneur, you probably fail 20 times before you get a win. And in a sense, because we're closing this down early, I don't think we would consider this, you know, in our perfectionist, high achieving books, we wouldn't consider this a huge win. And let's be honest, if we were getting 1 million downloads every week, then we would probably be stopping everything else and doing this, because it was a huge stream of revenue, and it was great for our brands, and it was building, and it was getting bigger, and we're just all in. But that's not the case. We're in a crowded space, and we gave it our best. And this is one of those things that we tried and it didn't work. But what I'm really grateful to Kendall for is that, you know, I'm really bad about cutting things off even when it's time, which is probably why I stay in relationships a lot longer than I should. And Kendall is very smart about, all right, like this is like the time to value ratio is not worth the value of our time. And so we just need to like fold them and move to the next thing and keep it going. And that is such a boss move. And it's allowing me to take on that same energy, which I'm so grateful for. And so, yeah, guys, like not everything not everything you try is going to work out and it's going to be a success. But you do need to know when you've given it enough to say, okay, let's move to the next thing, and just look at it as a learning experience. And I look at it as it was a great way to connect with you all in a totally different way. So I'm so grateful for the listens and the shares, because we do have a lot of listeners, and we are so grateful for you.
Yes. Galey said it nail on the head. And that's exactly it. I saw this really cool interview. In fact, Alex sent it to me. It was after we had the phone call and we went through everything. And I was like, look, I think what we have to do, I always believe in moving early and often and with anything in life. And like when you know that something isn't hitting in the way that maybe you would have hoped, it's much better to look it dead in the face and say, you know what? We went full in and we sent it and we tried. And I think that's what's really important. I saw Matthew McConaughey was being interviewed and he said, the biggest thing is like, I'm going to try to do his voice. He's like, do it with your whole No, that was like, I started doing Jennifer Coolidge.
I was like, that's Jennifer Coolidge. I'm here.
Oh my God, makes me want a hot dog real bad.
Real bad.
Real bad. Oh my God.
So good. You know what? Your Jennifer Coolidge is so good. I think you should do it in her voice. So what did Matthew Coolidge say?
So if it were Matthew McConaughey, he was in an interview and he said, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it with my whole ass.
That was so good.
But if you do it with your whole ass, you don't have regrets, you know?
Okay.
And you don't fully do it. You don't know if it's fully worth it. But you got to do it with your whole ass and then realize, yeah, that didn't work. And that's okay. But if you do it only half-assed, you keeps me up in the middle of the night. And you don't want that. No.
I honestly, Kendall, I thought I might cry on this episode. I did not anticipate I would be crying from laughing, because I literally have tears in my eyes right now seeing your face while you're doing that. So perfect.
For the record, you guys, I fucking love Jennifer Coolidge so much. So much to a woman who is like core character in my childhood development. But anyway, long story short, and through the voice of Jennifer Coolidge and not Matthew McConaughey, you want to go into life, and I'm proud of us for this, is like, we full went in. We're like, all right, we're going to commit to this. We're going to do this every single week. We're going to do everything that we can. It's difficult. We're in two separate places, with two different video qualities. My
scheduling this was so, I'm sorry, Mom, like, love me through this. I'm going to say it. Scheduling this podcast every week was so fucking hard.
God.
I said the F word. I could, like, there's no better word.
Say whatever the fuck you want to say. I will stand on that and bless our producer, Casey, and Alistair, and everybody at Podcast One, because it was a bitch to nail us down. Like, I'm like colors on the wind. I'm literally like where am I this week? I don't know. Carmen fucking San Diego. Carmen San Diego. But like, can I just be her?
Yeah.
Here. And so guys, yes. So what it's coming down to, it's totally bittersweet. It's not that we don't love doing this. It's not that we don't love talking to you guys, but we also have to be really respectful. Like, we're going to tell you of our time and of our energy and of what we're pouring into. And there's such beautiful things ahead. And with the best part is that also, like, we're all friends now. We're not going anywhere. There's going to be a million other ways to connect to us. And I'm just grateful, Galey, that like this whole process has been such a beautiful thing for us as women in our friendship and growing even closer together. And that is my greatest takeaway is like, damn, we've grown. We've grown in 6 months. Like that's it. Like that's really impressive.
I've always loved our conversations and I've always treasured our friendship, but I have learned so much from you that I don't think if we had taken our friendship into this platform, I don't think it would have forced us to have as frequent, as long and consistent conversations about the things that we did. And I'm changed because of it. And I can only imagine somebody who's listened to any of these hopefully feels the same way. And it's just because I learned things about myself. I learned things through you that I'm aspiring to have more of in my life and be more like. And it's, I also have so much respect for everybody in the podcast space. Like Podcast One, they work so hard and there's so much that all these people do. We have amazing editor, Casey. Like there's so much that everybody does behind the scenes that like they'll never get recognition for. And I hope when you listen to podcasts, you know that there's so many people behind these working so hard to bring it to you. And to Kendall's point, there's so many other ways that you guys can connect with us. Like I'm going to be putting on my Bumble stories. I'm literally screenshotting my conversations and putting them up on my Instagram stories. So you can always find me on social media at Galey Alex. Kendall is forever at Kendall Tool on Instagram, on TikTok. She posts a lot more than I do. So you see a lot of reels all the time. I do more stories because I don't want to take up too much space because I'm scared of everything. But I really think that, you know, between NKO Club and the products I'm putting out, there's just so many other ways. You guys are going to get just as much information, behind the scenes stories, products, coaching from Kendall, all these amazing things. And so we're technically it's coming. So we're technically not going anywhere. We just won't be on your podcast.
All right, friends.
Oh wait, Kendall, you came up with the final song. You got to share it.
Should I do it like Jennifer Coolidge?
Yes.
You got to know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to wait, fuck.
That was the song. Know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em. And so,
I think that's it. I don't know.
That's it. So we're folding them only on the podcast, but we're totally still holding them with all of you with our whole hearts, and we will never forget this experience. And you'll be able to watch us design and decorate and install Kendall's beautiful home together. And that's coming up. So we're really excited to be sharing that. So there's just going to be so many more fun things, just not on this platform. But we love you guys.
We love you so much. We love you with our whole hearts. You guys will forever be the special crew that was a part of Galey and Kendall's Wholeheartedly experiment. And truly, you guys are the real ones. So we love you. We will miss you. But we're also just going to see you everywhere else we see you and in a million more places. So sayonara and see you over there.
Love you guys so much. Bye. Is that our shortest episode ever?